Here I am. Hello. This is Gina from Gina Dallison Coaching with episode 5 of Healing Vibrations. So this is a broadcast that aims to change the perspective of illness, to enable for us to see it as a gift that it is. And this evening, I have sharing with you another interview with Allyson Brown, who is another lady who is living with multiple sclerosis. And that diagnosis and that challenge that she was living with has pushed her onto a path that she never would have chosen, but she's very glad that she is on. A bit like myself in that way, that actually, because of our illness, it has forced us to look at things in a very different way. And Allyson has found a lot of the answers to her challenges through diet. And she now has a diet program and a company called Everheal. And she is running a free workshop tomorrow. It's Australian time, so it's a little bit, I think it's middle of the night for me. But the 3 secrets to fix brain fog. So if brain fog is one of the things that you are challenged with, then it might be worth checking out Allyson's free resource that'll be going on in the next day or so. It's tomorrow. I will share the link in Facebook, but her company is called Everheal. So if you look her up, and it's Allyson Brown, which is ALLYSON. And this week we are talking about beliefs. Now, Healing Vibrations is my program that I run to help people recognize that there is a lot that you can do to help yourself. So if you've been diagnosed with a long-term illness or something that is described as incurable, that you've got to live with for the rest of your life, then you possibly have been told that there's nothing that you can do about it. But I know that's not true, because I found 33 areas that we do have control over that can directly affect our health and how we live. One of those is diet, which Allyson focuses on. And one of them is our beliefs. So our belief and what we believe is possible, excuse me, what we believe is possible. And what we believe is impossible is impossible. There's a great quote. Henry Ford, I think, was the original person who said it, but I think lots of people have said it since. Whether you think that you can or you think that you can't, you're actually right. So what we believe has a definite correlation to what our reality is. And I will share with you the interview where Allyson and I discussed this in a bit more depth. And if anything that we say sort of triggers you, or you just do not agree with, then please reach out and have a conversation, because this is really important stuff. And I believe that we can affect our lives with what we believe. I think what we believe is really, really important, and it is worth considering and thinking about. And it's something that I never really thought about until I began my coaching journey and started looking inwards for answers and really looking at what I believed. So I'll share with you the interview now, and you can see what you think. And if you have any questions, queries, comments, or anything else, then feel free to get in touch with me, Gina Dallison, and you can join my Facebook group. Here, let me share my thing with you. Where is it? There we are. So you can join the Facebook group, Managing MS Naturally, where you'll find a bit more about what is going on. I will now share with you the interview with Allyson. Enjoy. Shall I say? Because you know, at one point, I don't think it ever occurred. No, I never thought about it. You know, I didn't. I suppose I didn't believe it, because I did believe that you got ill, you go to the doctor gives you a pill, and you get better. But then, of course, when you go to the doctor and they don't really know what's the matter with you, it takes you an age to get diagnosed. And then even when you get diagnosed, they tell you it's incurable, and
that's right. And the problem, like when I was doing my research, the problem that I came across was that I was like, we're in the most medically advanced era in human history. How come there aren't pills out there that are curing people, like preventing disease? That doesn't make sense to me, because we're like, it's the most advanced era. Like, we should know these things, right? So the problem was that you know, the disease rate is actually just increasing and increasing, and some autoimmune diseases have risen by like 300% over the last 50 years.
Crazy.
It's just crazy. But we're not getting people cured. Like, there's still the same number of people or more that are just getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And so these pills, it's just masking some of the symptoms. It's not fixing our health. We have to look deeper at that and look for that root cause. Yeah, and it's unfortunate, because that's society. That's exactly what we get told. That's how we get sort of conditioned, so to speak. And I think, like, I feel like sometimes it's a bit of like being in the Matrix, where all of a sudden, like, I've been set free and I can see that it's, you know, this awesome control factor, and now that I'm free, I can really see it for what it is. But we don't think about it. We just don't think about it like that. Yeah, which is sad. I'd really love to have people be released from their sort of their limiting beliefs, their limiting thoughts as well, and be open to exactly what you're talking about, like self-healing.
And that'd be an amazing world. Well, yeah, and I think if you can. And I think that's probably the message, that the underlying thing that has come up for me is actually we can heal ourselves. And whether you believe that you can or believe you can't, there's that Henry Ford quote, isn't there? If you think that you can, you think that you can't, then you're right. And it's like, well, what would I like to believe? I'd like to believe that actually we do have the power to heal ourselves. And actually that makes me feel better. That makes me feel like I want to get up in the morning and search. And I'll try something, and if it doesn't work, I'm really at that, okay, it's disappointing. We just want to find that thing straight away, don't we? And you certainly found something that's really helped you with your diet. Yeah, I've gone down that route, and it hasn't helped the symptoms that I had, but nobody's the same, are they? Everyone's got different symptoms. But it's, you know, was it a waste of time? No, of course not. Because I think your diet is, even if it hasn't made a massive difference to my symptoms, the fact that my diet is now a lot cleaner than it was, and a lot, you know, it gives you that fundamental thing. Your diet is such a key thing to as a foundation, I think, isn't it? And it's such a tangible thing that we can all change quite easily.
That's right. And I think about it, like, the simplest term that I can think about it in now is like a car. Like, if our body is a car, we are in society, for the most part, we're putting different types of fuel into our car. We used to be putting healthy fuel, which is like, you know, fruits and natural things from the earth. We used to be putting good fuel in. But now we're actually putting like processed foods and sugar and lots of junk foods and all that stuff in. So your body gets confused, because it goes, I don't know what that is. That's not food. This was food. This was food, but this isn't. And it's like putting the wrong fuel into your car. So you wouldn't put diesel fuel into an unleaded car and expect it to work. Would you? Like, you just wouldn't, because that's impossible. Like, that car is needing that particular fuel to function. So when we've got, say, mitochondrial dysfunction, where the little organelles that produce our energy, let's say, when they stop working, and you get people that are just fatigued all of the time, I sort of think about it like the car now, and I'm like, well, for me personally, I was putting the wrong fuel into my car, into my body, and it wasn't working. And it's because I was actually doing the wrong thing. And when I fixed it, when I fixed my diet, lo and behold,
Wow.
my energy starts coming back. And I just think that, you know, we just don't think about it like that. We just think, oh, it's just food. Like, how could food do anything? It's just food. But I'm like, well, it's actually the building blocks of every reaction, every fundamental reaction in our body. And, you know, if we're putting the wrong stuff in there, well, guess what? It's not actually going to work properly.
We're not going to work very well, are we? And I think, you know, the way the food industry has taken over, and, you know, the advertising and the way they stick sugars and additives and everything, it's like, yeah, it does not help. So to bring that back to basics, and if you've been brought up on processed food, which chances are, you know, a lot of people have, maybe not. I think when I was a kid, we were still in a meat and two veg, and well, my mum was probably doing a lot of home cooking. But then my mum was a stay-at-home mum, and, you know, most people's parents now aren't stay-at-home mums, and we choose ease and we choose convenience because, of course, yeah, we're juggling lots of different things, and we haven't got time to prep and do all those things, or we think we haven't.
Yeah, that's right. And I think, I mean, it's a matter of priority, isn't it? But we don't put a lot of priority on our food. We're like, oh, well, it's like sleep. Oh, well, we just have to go and do nothing for a bit. But I've got a big day tomorrow. I really can't be affording to have sleep, even though it's a really fundamental function of our bodies. We just don't put a priority on it until we get sick.
Yeah.
Which is where the warning signs are up and saying, help, your body's actually screaming out. When you get diagnosed with an autoimmune disease or cancer or any chronic illness, it's your body actually screaming out, you've got to change something. I am not coping. I am not coping now. Yeah, so it's a big thing to take on. But if you listen to your body, it's telling you some pretty big things.
Well, this is it. And if we're more in tune with our body, we would have listened earlier. You know, it wouldn't have to be a massive great diagnosis that, you know, that changes your life. And I think as well that it's the mindset thing, because one of my little tagline in the podcast is changing the perception of illness to see it as a gift. And that seems like a big ask to somebody who's just been diagnosed with something that's, you know, changed their life. You were talking earlier about, you know, not being able to play sports anymore, and you know, the frustration of having to stop something that you enjoy, that gives you benefit, because your body's just saying no, and that's not a nice thing to have to come to terms with and accept, is it?
No, and I think when you couple that with the way that we get educated about illness these days, is that it just happens. You either get it or you don't. You know, it's just luck of the draw. When we actually redefine what that looks like and actually empower ourselves to know that, you know, the food that we're putting in our bodies, that makes a difference. The level of stress that we're under, you know, our relationships with everybody and ourselves, and the toxic environment that we live in or don't, like the amount of chemicals that are in our shampoos and conditioners, like it's all of that stuff. It's all of that stuff. And if we have a look at that now and sort of think, geez, all of that is just adding a little piece to the pie and contributing to whatever our health looks like. I mean, some people are lucky. Some people have the genes that means that they can eat whatever they want, they can live whatever they want, like they can be as stressed as anything, and they don't put on any weight and they never get sick and all of that stuff. Listen, we hate those people, don't we? No, but I mean, it's very rare, right? You know,
I would say it's very. There might, I don't know. I don't know actually anybody that does all of those things and is living a healthy life. Because my
brother used to, yeah. So he would, until very, very recently, like in the last couple of years, he would just be the king of junk food. In fact, he went to McDonald's one time and he ordered a family box, which is like 4 hamburgers and 4 fries and 4 drinks, and he ate them all. Right, wow. It was like a challenge that he put to himself. So he would eat whatever he wanted. He didn't really get sick. He was skinny as a rake, and everybody hated that. And now that he's just flipped over to 40, he's just starting to put on a bit of weight. He's starting to slow down a bit. He's starting to get a little bit sicker. And, you know, it's his body's warning signs saying, if you don't stop this, you know, this is it's gonna end badly. But I do hope that he starts to pay attention to his body, because you know, it's giving him signals
up a little bit. And I'm trying to teach the kids that, because I've got teenage boys who now think it's, you know, we can Deliveroo everything, and trying to get them to, you know, to eat healthier, even though, you know, I thought I was pretty good as a you know, a mum when they were little, and I did a lot of home cooking, and I did, you know, do all the things when we were weaning them onto their mushed up vegetables. But so somewhere in the mix of all that, then I think it's just,
well, society's an influence, right? You know,
everything. Takeaway food tastes good, doesn't it? They, you know,
I know.
You know, your pizzas and your hamburgers and your fish and chips and all that stuff. You know, let's face it, it does taste good, and it's easy.
Addicted to sugar and junk food for 30 years. Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's educating our, you know, from a conscious level, but it's also recognizing those beliefs that we've, you know, kept on to, isn't it, and changing them, but also changing our taste buds, you know, persuading our taste buds that actually this stuff is better. And I must say, I have retrained my taste buds. I do have the odd thing of fish and chips, but not much, you know, not much else. And I just prefer, you know, a healthy salad to hamburger. That's just me.
I know. It's really funny though. And I know, I think we talked about this one other time about, you know, the fact that your taste buds do change with age. I do believe that too. But I was addicted to junk food and sugar for so many years. And so, you know, I didn't love the idea of eating vegetables that much. Like, I mean, I would eat them, but they didn't excite me at all. And the idea of ordering something like a salad when I went out for dinner, oh my God, I was like, why would I do that if I could order a pie and chips? Like, honestly, there's just no way. But now I absolutely love my veggies. Like, I've got a bunch of them roasting. I know that we're in 2 different time zones, but I'm preparing dinner at the moment.
As well. That's my favorite.
Yeah, and I'm just preparing all these vegetables, which I love the idea that it nourishes my microbiome. So this is looking after my gut health and keeps my body happy and healthy and everything. But I actually love the taste of them now too. I just can't get enough. It's crazy. And I feel like it's a complete chalk and cheese. Like, I used to just be like, if I have to eat them, I will. And now I'm like, oh my God, give it to me. Like, I just love it. So strange, but it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Well, and I think it's just changing our perceptions, isn't it? I think it is massive, and for me, like I was saying, it is a very spiritual journey. It is teaching me about, you know, myself, what I want, what's important to me, and I think one of the things certainly that I believe my MS is teaching me is that I was on the wrong path. I was merrily going this way, or I wasn't merrily going that way. I was quite miserably going that way, actually, when I look back and think about it. You know, I was allowing everybody else to direct me, and I wasn't even thinking or considering what I actually wanted. Because I remember, you know, the question being posed to me some 6-7 years ago, you know, what do you want? I don't know what I want. And that took some real thinking about. That was like an eye-opener. Oh my God, yeah, I do want stuff. I have got ambitions. I have got dreams. I can. And then once the dreams came into place, it was like, well, yeah, why not? Why can't they come true? Why can't I? So yeah, and looking at the belief, like I said earlier, about I want to believe that I can cure myself because it just makes me feel better. And then I also want to believe that, you can have anything that you want. If you put your mind to it and you work towards it and you don't give up on it and you believe in yourself and you keep believing in that thing. So the whole beliefs has been really interesting because, again, what do you believe? It's like, I don't know, I didn't really think about it. But this journey is forcing me to dig up these beliefs and like, oh, is that really what I think about that? Oh, that's not very empowering, that's not very, it doesn't make me feel good. So now the way I work at it is it's just, this is what I do with my clients, really, I guess, is just, what's that thing that you believe? Let's pull it out. Let's look at it. Does that make you feel good? Not really. Right. Let's rewrite that belief and let's put in something else, because your beliefs are your subconscious programming, aren't they? They're what works, and that they reckon that's 95% of our actions are done on subconscious. So if we're acting on beliefs that don't make us feel good and aren't going towards where we want to go, then we're not going to get where we want to go.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking when you were saying it, because I feel like not only do we want to surround ourselves with people that make us feel good and are positive influences in our lives, because that does impact us. If we're surrounded by negativity all the time, guess what? Your mood just goes down, you feel like crap, and it's draining. It is draining. And what it does is it raises up your cortisol levels. So you become in the fight or flight mode, it's like a tiger in front of you, and you're either going to fight it or you're going to run away. And this cortisol level raise is not good. It can lead to adrenal fatigue and all sorts of stuff. It's not what we want. And it doesn't make you feel nice, as you said. So positive energies, even if it didn't work, right? Healing yourself, right? That journey is going to make you feel amazing, because you're constantly learning, and you're searching for something that's positive and good in the world. This is amazing. This is a great thing. And I feel like, yeah, we need to put a little bit more emphasis on, how we treat ourselves, how we treat other people, how we feel with our thoughts when we're alone. Are they good thoughts or bad thoughts? It can really make a big difference. And I think that, as you say, it's great empowerment when you're actually I'm on a mission now. And what better mission than getting yourself feeling as healthy as you can?
Well, yeah, and actually, then you can show to everybody else. I mean, looking at you, looking how vibrant you are, and how you wouldn't think that there's anything wrong with you, that you've got an incurable disease that you're never going to get better from, because you're getting better. You're showing under, actually, by making these little changes, and as we learn more, and as we we can show, because every day is a learning day, isn't it? Oh God, I never thought of changing that. I never thought I'm doing some breathing. I was telling you earlier, just practicing breathing on a more regular basis. And I talk about breathing a lot as a mindful exercise, but I've sort of upped my game with it, really, and seeing what a difference that makes. And we all breathe, but actually, how many of us really breathe properly and really fill up our whole body, and allow us to notice what that feels inside us. And I notice myself, I'm getting better. I can actually hold my breath for longer, and then so it's like everything's like, wow, it's we can start experimenting with this stuff. And I like what you said as well about the people that surround you, because you actually run your program as a group, and that's what I've started doing as well, because it's that idea of putting people together that are on the same journey, that are going to support each other when you're feeling low, and who are going to celebrate your wins, doesn't matter how small the wins are, because they know that actually the fact that you had a whole day where you've eaten really good stuff could have been a real challenge, where you haven't dipped into the biscuit tin, or whatever it is, whatever your Achilles heel is that you want to go to, that you've done a whole day without it, is a massive thing. and it is worth celebrating, and that's one day, and then you do the next day, and before you know it, a month's gone past, and you've changed your habit. And you can do that by the support of others, which is why we do what we do, really, isn't it? With the coaching, because to make changes that are fundamentally ingrained in us, like diet, you think it should be easy. I'll just change my diet. Yeah, but how many times has anybody tried to change their diet? Whether it's to lose weight.
I've only got two hands. I've only got two hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's impossible, isn't it? And especially when you're looking at things like sugar, obviously one of the biggest addictive drugs out there, and it's in everything. In fact, I just did I got an email the other day from one of our chain supermarkets, and it said, "Oh, we're really pleased to tell you that we're promoting healthy eating. So we have removed 269 tons of sugar out of our food over the last 4 years." And I was like, "What? 269 tons of sugar out of their food?" And that was something that they were open to sharing, obviously.
And they've probably still got sugar in them.
I know, that's the thing, isn't it? But it made me sort of realize that they're actually telling us that that's how much sugar is actually in the food that we haven't ever thought about. But we just need to open our eyes to it, that it's real. Just check the back of a label on any food in your pantry, and see whether you can read half of the chemical names on there.
Well, this is it, and even our fruit and vegetables have obviously got sugar in themselves anyway. So we're getting natural sugars. We don't need this additive, but they've obviously found over the course of time that actually, it changes the taste and makes people like them. But then we've almost, as a human race, sort of evolved our taste to want more sweet stuff and want more fatty stuff and want more of that.
Exactly.
Well, I think back in the day,
because it tastes good, it does taste good, and that's the amazing lie that we've kind of, that we're living, is that this food, when we think about food and consequences, right? We only think about the only consequence with eating food that's bad for us is weight gain.
Yeah.
That's the only consequence that we think about. We don't think about, the fact that we get addicted to these new things. We crave these new foods, semi-foods, I suppose, and that it actually changes our biochemistry and causes a lot of illness out there. That's why, we've got rising illness out there, because we just keep eating more and more of this bad food too. And yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, and when you think of back in our caveman days, if you like, and I suppose we have evolved to actually, be drawn to sweet stuff, because back in them days we wouldn't have had it very often. How often would you have found like honey, and then it would have been in this really intense, sort of rich, something that would sustain us, but you'd only have maybe once a year. Or when fruits come up, fruits only come up at certain times of the year. So actually, as human beings, we a sweet tooth will be good, because that's like, they would have been nutritious and they would have been helpful for us. And the same with fats as well. We wouldn't have, you wouldn't have had meat all the time. You would have had meat when when the hunters caught them, which was few and far between, really. So I think what the food people have done, have used that like innate part of human beings that needs this type of food, and just taken the mick of it, really, for want of a better word, and used it to
exploited us, I guess. But
yeah, definitely.
And it is sad. Yeah, that's right. And they're just using it against us, but it's at the detriment of our health and well-being, which is what's really sad. I mean, the more people that can be educated just on how bad it's gotten, particularly if they're on the cusp of illness, if they're like,
starting to not feel good, and what would you say that people need to look out for, the early signs with regards to?
Honestly, there's a lot, and it can start as simple as reflux after eating something, or a headache, or bloating of the tummy is a big one as well. You know, things like that are quite sort of like, oh yeah, I got a bit of bloating after I ate something, but like you don't, like who notices that? Well, who actually goes, oh wow, that must be, you know, intestinal permeability or gut dysbiosis or SIBO, or like you don't think about it like that. You just go, oh yeah, I've got a bit of a tummy ache or something like that. But when you start looking at some of those things, if you ever feel unwell or any little symptoms that come up after eating, particularly straight after eating or shortly thereafter, it's a sign that your body is giving you to go, oh, I wasn't really happy about that. And then obviously you can go to the other extremes when it manifests into, you know, something chronic illness related. But those little warning signs, even just excessive, you know, belching after food or whatever, it's a sign.
Yeah,
it's a sign.
But it's quite interesting because I had an ex-boyfriend who used to get acid reflux when he ate pastries and breads particularly. But then he discovered he could go to the doctors and get a pill that would stop the acid reflux. And it was like, don't you think it would be better to like just not eat the food? Because again, it's your body talking to you, isn't it? So by taking pills that make us feel better in the moment, we're not listening to our body. It's almost like saying to, yeah, body, I'm not listening to you because I just want to go on. And and it's this, and I guess that's what I've been learning over this last 5-6 years, is the connection with our bodies and actually taking time to listen and to heed what it's trying to say and to work in partnership.
And giving it some credit. I guess I used to always think that I just got given, you know, a broken body, you know, that I was just unlucky. I just got given a broken body and that's just what I had to deal with. And when you sort of have that, I guess I would call it sort of like a victim mentality, really. It didn't empower me to do anything about it. And I just think, that's right. And it's hard to get out of that state of mind when you know that the solution that's offered is just go to the doctor, get a pill, boom. Like, you know, you don't think to actually go, but why am I getting that? The doctors will just go, don't worry about that. Just here, take these pills for the rest of your life and you'll be fine. It's just, we've got a bit backwards, I think.
And you were talking earlier as well about stress, and I think, you know, we have so much stress in our lives now that's like, you know, it is chronic and it's there all the time, and our bodies don't get a chance to chill out and to relax. And that's not a good thing, because when we're in our fight or flight that you talked about, then the energy is not in our autoimmune system and it's not in our central nervous system. It's not calming us down and it's not allowing our bodies to heal and repair, which is
And I think one of the big things that I've learned, and it relates to kind of everything that we've spoken about today, is what I feel now is control. And that's something that I never thought I would ever get back. When I got diagnosed and it was like, well, this is out of your control, here's medication. You know, I didn't, it just happened to me.
Oh, there was shut this door, please, sir? Could you shut this door for me, please? Could you shut this door for me, please? Sorry.
That was just happening to me. And I think what I've learned over, you know, all of the research that I've done and, you know, really taking time to look after myself and make choices that are actually supporting my health, I actually am in control completely now. And that's really empowering. And that's very, I don't know, like I felt like I'd never feel that way ever again. And now that I have that, it's very energizing as well. And you just want to keep going on this journey because it feels great. Like it feels like you're on the right path. And so I urge people to do their research, you know, start thinking about some of these things, listen to your body, reduce that stress, start eating a clean diet. All of these things are actually going to make a big difference.
And connect with other people that are on, you know, want to be doing the same things and want to feel I talk a lot about vibrations as well, and keeping your vibrations high, because when we're feeling happier, we have got more energy, and happiness is a choice. That we can look at a situation and we can see the bad side of it. I've got this horrible disease and it's awful, and I'm never going to walk properly, and I won't be able to play netball again, and it's really crap. Or I've got this thing that's forcing me onto a different path, but oh my God, look at the things that I'm doing, look at the people that I'm connecting with, look at the things that I'm learning about, and the connection with myself, which is is that whole, people talk a lot about self-love, but it's learning, isn't it, to actually accept and love yourself,
and being open to it, because I think when you're so there's sort of fixed mindsets and open kind of mindsets, and if you've got a fixed mindset, it's basically just there's no possibility for any change, any improvement, anything. And I think when we do close ourselves off and think that there's no control over our decisions or the way that we think about things, that it closes the door. Like there's no opportunity that may come out of that. So I think just trying to be open to new things. Like there was a lady today that I was talking to, and she's like, yeah, I want to change my diet, sort of, but I kind of also think that probably won't do anything.
Won't make a difference.
Yeah, and so she sort of had closed herself off to it, but she's at a stage where, she can't work, and she's actually feeling awful all the time, and she really needs to make these changes. And if she can just open herself up to the possibility that, listen, I'm going to give it a go, because there's something amazing that's waiting at the other side. I really hope that she does take action and actually do some changes. I'd really love to see her journey. I've had a few messages from people that are like, all right, I'm going to give it a try. And I just can't wait to hear how they go, because I think I'm going to get some messages a couple of months down the track that are going to be like, oh my God, Allyson, I made some changes and it's so good. I feel so much better. And I don't know, it just warms my heart.
Well, yeah, this is it. So I think that's, we started off this conversation thinking about, I was sort of trying to think of what is the message that I want to be sharing out to people. And I think fundamentally it comes to that thing, that belief that actually you can make a difference to your health. It is possible. Whether that's complete self-healing, I don't know, but I'd like to think that is possible too. But you can definitely heal yourself in certain aspects, and you can certainly help symptoms, that you think that you might think that you can't affect. You can. I've come up with 33 areas, but I think there's more areas of your life that you have control over. And so I guess if anybody's wanting to know more about how to change your diet, which is it's a basic, it's a fundamental. I think if you can get your diet there as a foundation, it sort of helps builds on everything else. I mean, if you're, I've heard people change their diet. I work with a lady who had bipolar, and that the diet massively, she no longer had it. She's no longer got it. So something that
honestly, it's everything, like PTSD, osteoporosis, cancer, like the list goes on and on. When you actually look into it and start researching and finding people that have done this, like it's every chronic illness that you could ever possibly imagine. And people are doing it. And
it's possible.
Yeah, that's right. It is possible.
Oh, thank you so much. I think we've got, I'm definitely going to, I had a real block over editing videos, so I'm going to have a play. I've left it on here on purpose, so I'm going to have to play and cut the end.
I'll unmute myself. So as you can see, I haven't quite got the video editing sorted out yet, but I think that conversation, I've just re-listened to it again, that conversation with Allyson, and it really is empowering to know that there are lots of things that we do have control over. And it might be easier to give our power away and to feel like this thing has happened to me and there's nothing that I can do about it. But I would really, really, if that's how you're feeling right now, I would really encourage you to just start opening your eyes a little bit to what could be possible, because there are plenty of people out there who are living symptom-free without having to take a myriad of drugs. I know that it's possible. I'm not doing it yet, but I'm working towards it. And I'm enjoying myself working towards it. Every time that I can feel myself slipping into the poor me thing, I make a conscious decision not to. Looking at my beliefs has been such an amazing change for me. And it's something that I just didn't know. 95% of our habits and our choices are made using our subconscious programming. And our subconscious programming is created from what we believe. And our beliefs are made up of our experiences, our lives, the people that are surrounding us, the society that we're living in. And what is a belief anyway? What is a belief? You know, when you think about beliefs and what they are, you can have two people standing there with totally opposing beliefs. Which person is right? Well, they think they're right, and they think they're right. And there's probably people in the middle that have got different beliefs as well. So your beliefs are right for you. And if your beliefs aren't giving you what you want and are not making you happy, then you can change your beliefs. And if you want some help doing that, then speak to a coach. And that's what I do with my coaching. I help people look at their beliefs. We follow a process. If you want to make some changes, you know, your habits aren't serving you well, you want to change your diet, as we talked about in the interview. Making changes is not easy. And our choices that we make around food are very ingrained. You know, the habits, the easiness, the emotional ties that we have to food. You know, the fact that like the chocolate cookies remind us of happy times sitting with grandma around by the fire, or sharing fun with your brothers and sisters or your friends, or eating sweets. You know, marshmallows on the end of sticks. I mean, marshmallows have got to be the most sugar-infused anything, but they might give us that nice feel-good feeling. But it's possible to get that without the food. And once we recognize, oh my God, that's where that's come from. And what actually do I want from that? And it can be very easy just to reach for the thing that we've always reached for, that crutch. So we talked a couple of things on there that are in my 33 areas. Obviously, there's diet, nutrition. Sleep is another area that we do have control over. You may not feel like it sometimes, but there is a lot we can do to affect our sleep. Our stress levels, and sleep and diet, they're all interlinked. All the 33 areas are interlinked. Then relationships, what are your relationships like? And that might be an intimate relationship, or it might be a relationship with your children, or your parents, or your colleagues, or your friends. So we've got a lot of everything in life is a relationship. We've got a relationship with ourselves. How much love do we give ourselves? What is our self-talk like? And then we also talked in the interview about toxin levels. You know, in this day and age, when we're living in busy and busier places, and we've got more chemicals on things to clean things and to kill things off, kill off bacteria. That's giving us more toxins into our bodies. And it was described to me one time that our bodies are a bit like a toxin bucket. So our bodies are amazing. They can keep us going even when we don't actually treat them very well, even if we don't fuel them with the right fuel, even if we don't treat them as well as we could, even where we do give ourselves things that don't really help us, like drugs and like alcohol and like the wrong food, like too much stress and all that stuff. But our body's still going. We're still here. We're still going. So if you have any sorry, the dog's dreaming. If you have any little symptoms that you're noticing already, as Allyson said in the interview, start taking heed, start noticing. You don't want to have to wait until you get diagnosed with a lifelong illness to make any changes. And by that point, making changes is harder as well. But it is possible to make changes. You know, little changes can make big results. And I use a process, a very simple process, an ABC process. So A is for awareness, just noticing, oh, this is that thing I'm doing, and that's not very helpful. B is for beliefs. So actually recognizing your beliefs around that area and around that subject. And once you have the awareness and once you've looked at your beliefs and reworked your beliefs, then you move on to C, which is the change. And actually, once you're aware, once you've worked on your beliefs, actually making the change is not as hard as you think. So it is totally possible to change little things in our lives, which then make us feel better, make us feel healthier. And when we start making these changes, then we feel empowered. It is exciting to recognize, oh, I don't have to live with this annoying ache or this annoying pain or this annoying reflux I get from eating a certain thing. I can actually start listening to my body. And I so wish that is something that we're taught more. I wish when we go to our doctors, our doctor encourages us to listen to our body rather than just giving us a pill, which really masks the symptom a lot of the time. And a lot of the meds that we take, you know, how many people actually read the small print of the medications when you're taking it? You know, if you were to read the small print and actually take that on board, you probably wouldn't take it at all. But we give our power to our doctors, and our doctors don't encourage us to listen to our bodies. So this whole broadcast really is around encouraging people to start listening to your bodies. You don't have to wait until you've got a big scary illness. You can listen, you can get in tune and start listening to the small little signs that it's trying to tell us. And one of the ways that we can do that is through meditation. So I like to end this broadcast with a meditation where we can get in tune with our body. So I'm going to talk you through a short body scan now. And this is something that you can do before you go to bed at night as you're lying down. And it will actually be a very calming thing to do if you're struggling with sleep. So it will help you sleep. You can do it first thing in the morning when you first wake up and feel in that place of gratitude for being alive and waking up in a nice warm bed. And you can just do it at certain times of the day. So how do we do a body scan? We get ourselves sitting nice and comfortable. So if you'd like to join me now, if it's safe to do so, so sit and lie where you are. Take a nice big deep breath in and really notice how that breath expands in your body. Imagine your lungs filling right up like a balloon. Hold it for a second or two, and then slowly release the breath. And as you release the breath, pull your stomach in and notice how that feels. Now, if you'd like to close your eyes and rest your hands gently on your lap, take another big deep breath in. And then just allow your breath to move naturally through your body. Just notice what it's doing. There's no judgment, you're just noticing. And if we start from the top of your head, bring your awareness and imagine your awareness is a bright, beautiful light. As you close your eyes and imagine this bright, beautiful light just scanning down from the top of your head through your body. Bring your awareness to your head and notice how that feels. How do your eyes feel? Can you see anything behind your closed eyelids? What can you hear? What does your mouth feel like? What can you taste? Where is your tongue sitting in your mouth? How is your throat feeling? How do your shoulders feel? Are they relaxed or are they tense? You might want to give them a wiggle and notice just by moving them. Does that feel better? As you bring your awareness down to your torso again, you might notice your breath. Bring your awareness to your heart area. And if you sit really quiet, you can actually hear and feel your heart beating. Bring your awareness down the rest of your body, your stomach, all those intestines working their magic. How's your stomach feeling? Can you notice any sensations? Anything going on? And then bring your awareness down to your bottom area and notice how you can feel the chair underneath you or the settee. And as you bring your awareness down your thighs, notice how they relax. How do the back of your legs feel compared to the front? Bring your awareness down to your knees. Notice the back and the top of your knees. Are they warm? Are they cold? Notice any energy going there. You're tingling. And then bring your awareness down your calves and your shins, your ankles. And then down to your feet, the soles of your feet that have done all the walking today. Send your feet some love. I always like to send my feet some love because they work hard. And then bring your awareness to each individual toe. You might want to go from your left foot to your right foot, from your little toe to your big toe, or vice versa. And just notice if your body is bringing your attention to any particular part of it. You might have an ache or a pain or something tickling or itching, or even just sensations that you can just notice when you're sitting quiet. So this exercise literally has taken us about 4 or 5 minutes. And it allows you to connect into your body and start noticing if your body's trying to tell you anything. Is there anything going on there that maybe you need to do a bit more inquiry at? Just ask yourself, what is it that my stomach's trying to tell me, if that's where you can feel something? What are my feet trying to tell me? And it might sound a bit strange if you've never done this sort of exercise before. So it's going to take some practice. I'm still practicing. I'm no expert by any stretch. But these are our bodies. And as well-meaning or as clever as any of the doctors or scientists or experts are, they're not living in our bodies. They're not living in your body. You're living in your body. And you're the only one that can feel what you're feeling. And there is so much that is within your control that you can make some changes on. And once you start on that journey, it's empowering and exciting. It's not without its challenges, of course, but then life isn't. What do you believe about your ability to heal yourself? There's no right or wrong. I don't know. I just know that I am actively choosing a belief that makes me feel better. And it does make me feel better. So if you would like some help with anything, then get in touch. If you just want to comment or tell me that you think I'm talking rubbish, then please do. Always open to having discussions around this because it is so important and it is totally life-changing. Once you can get your head around that actually you can believe whatever you want, then you can believe whatever you want. So enjoy the rest of your week and weekend. I look forward to seeing you next week. I haven't got a plan for next week yet. I'm still working on this whole planning process, but there will be something else interesting to talk about with regarding to the idea of healing vibrations. And that is about changing the perspective of illness, to see it as a gift, and also to work with the vibrations within us to keep us as happy as possible. So if you've got any ideas or anything you would like me to cover, then let me know. And in the meantime, have a beautiful rest of Thursday. I'll see you soon.